Let's do this thing.
All right. Well,
Spurs Bros Podcast, episode one, take
eh,
one.
take one. Boom. All righty, gang.
What's up,
Welcome.
everybody?
Welcome to the Spurs Bros podcast. I am your host, Alec Boggess. This is my co-host,
Reagan
Reagan
Keogh
Keogh.
here.
Yeah, Reagan, tell us a little bit about yourself. Why are we doing this? And just why you, why me, as far as why we should be the ones to be able to talk about Spurs.
Yeah, man. So, really excited to get this going. I think this has been brewing for a little bit of time here, but a little bit about me. I was born and raised in San Antonio, lifelong diehard Spurs fan. I grew up idolizing Tim Duncan from the Twin Towers era that kind of started our whole, championship run back in '99 when we were little kids, to the beautiful game Spurs that got us our fifth ring, number
Mm-hmm.
five, our
Mm-hmm.
senior year of high school in 2014. Crazy memory that was. That was badass to me to be able to see that as we're going off into college. Kind of last hurrah with all of our high school friends. So tons of good memories growing up. I moved to Dallas in 2014 to go play college basketball. I played 4 years at the University of Texas at Dallas. But I still follow the Spurs closely, right? My both my roommates in college were from the San Antonio area, fellow teammates on the basketball team at UTD. We would watch as many games as we could. Anytime the Spurs would come up to Dallas, we'd try to get to a game at American Airlines Center, to keep up. And then, Die Hard to this day, man. I've kept up with it. Talking to you, talking to some other friends from San Antonio. Reminiscing on the last playoff run in 2019 with DJ and Derek White and all those guys. Seeing Dejounte Murray traded, leaving work the day Dejounte Murray got traded because I
Mm-hmm.
was in shambles from that. Wasn't ready to go through, you know,
The
the
rebuilds.
the tank and the rebuild. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
But we're here for Wemby. I
Yep.
think everything got rejuvenated with the lottery win last year, and breathe a new life into the organization. I'm ready to get into it and talk about it with you. And there's no person I'd rather do it with than my brother for life, my point guard.
Yep.
One of the most respected basketball minds in my circle on a day-to-day basis. So
Let's go. Let's
yeah.
go. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, 100%. And likewise, obviously, the feeling is mutual. Obviously, that's why we're doing this. And you mentioned that we talk about this. I'm sure everybody who cares about the Spurs, especially if they're other fellow bros, Spurs bros, they probably have some sort of a group chat talking to everything. Spurs. We're just the only people stupid enough to just like upload what we think onto the internet. So we're just doing this, but making it a public
Yeah.
forum. And I think I think some of our takes, everybody who starts podcast saying, "Oh, we got something interesting to say," but I don't know. Hey, I think like you just mentioned, you bring an interesting perspective to the game because you played it at a high level. My name is Alec. For those who don't know me, last name is Boggess. And in San Antonio, that name is a little popular for, I don't know, popular, but well known in the basketball world. My uncle was very highly respected high school basketball coach in San Antonio. I think he still is most winningest high school basketball
Yep.
coach
Number
in
one.
South Texas history. So got to learn from him, played for him, played with Reagan in high school. Was first team All State. You obviously would have been if you didn't hurt your knee in your senior
Don't get
year.
me started.
Yeah, I know.
915 wins for Coach Charlie Boggess, by the way.
Yeah,
So that's how we learned from 915 and 358 in 38 seasons.
exactly. He's just the perfect person to have absorbed, basketball knowledge from over the years. I went to his camps when I was, could barely walk, and then started going and attending, and then went to all the high school basketball games, and then just sort of just been around it. And then for me personally, as Reagan mentioned, I was his point guard. I was an undersized point guard, 5'9", and so I was always had to be very creative as well as just and so I was always into gaining new skills and just sort of seeing the game at a different level, at a higher level of detail. And so that's sort of another maybe interesting flair that I can bring as well, just sort of breaking down plays on a more detailed level. And then we have the obviously the basketball mind, and just sort of the X's and O's as well. And so, yeah, I mean, whoever wants to tune in and join for the ride, this will be an interesting time. This will be fun. I'm sure you're here because you care about the Spurs just as much as we do. So, like Reagan said, we're diehards over here. So without further ado, I know that's a very long intro, but I say let's just go ahead and get rolling. So, I mean, Reagan, any thoughts about sort of the end of last season, or maybe just last season in general, and then kind of compare that to sort of this season? What do you think about going into the 2025 season?
Like I said, man, since we traded DeJounte Murray, and kind of the reset and realization of where we were as a team, as an organization a few years ago, dragging through a couple of 20-something win seasons, trying to push through. We finally let all that go and went down to 22 wins. Like I said, I went back to the lottery, and I got married this year. Best
Yeah.
day of my life. I got engaged the year we won the lottery, but man, that lottery one was right up there, I gotta say.
I was
And I
literally
think
like the second thing you told me, dude. You're like,
I
that's
think I think my wife knows too,
yeah.
what that kind of meant. But no, man, last year seeing Wembanyama come into it and what he brings to the table, not the smoothest start ever as he got used to the physicality of the league, the speed of the NBA, but it didn't take him long. We got to around Christmas time last year, and he put some things together and started giving us some real hope for the future. Vassell took a big jump last year. Trey Jones was a steadying force for us, and little bit of hope for the first time in a long time.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think for me, and obviously all the Spurs fans, we see this on Twitter as well, or X. It was just really interesting to just see everybody so anxious to want to get back to obviously the glory days. So I mean, we were so spoiled. I mean, literally since we were
So
born,
spoiled.
we've been good since we
Stupid.
can have any memory. We've been great / champions, and we become a dynasty and all that. And so, you know, being gone on a cold streak and just being so bad for however many seasons, I guess 4 3 4 years
Missed the
at that
playoffs 4 years in a row so far.
four
Yep.
years in a row.
After making it, what, 22 straight years?
22,
Something
maybe
like that.
23. Yeah,
From
something like that.
1999 to 2019, I believe. So yeah,
Yeah.
20 straight years of playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. So just going from that and then finally getting Wemby thinking, oh my gosh, this is the year. This is the year. This is the year. We're back finally. And then obviously that wasn't the case.
Nope.
We literally had the exact same record as last year, barely, because we beat the Pistons the last game of the year.
The Nuggets, yeah, the Nuggets.
The Nuggets
Wasn't it
as
the
well.
Nuggets? Pistons
Second,
last game.
that was the
Yeah.
second last game of the
I
year,
just
and the
remember
Pistons.
that
Yeah,
comeback that Wemby put together against the Nuggets, which
that was
which
sick.
dropped them from the 1 seed to the 2 seed and had
Yeah,
ripples throughout the playoffs.
exactly. No, I
Yeah,
know. I
yeah, but the
love.
Pistons win too.
Yeah, no, but exactly. But either way, just seeing sort of Spurs Twitter just kind of almost get upset and this person needs to go, trade everybody. What are we doing? And it's not understanding. Well, obviously this can be a longer process than we expected. There was some good growth. Toward the end of the year, we kind of went on a run. I think we were 7-4 in our last 11 or something like that. I
Yeah, I
believe it
can check
was. And
that.
so
Yeah, we were 6-5 in our last 11.
okay, so all right, so, 6-5, 7-4, whatever.
But
That's still something.
that's over 500 basketball for a sustained stretch, first time in a long time.
Yep.
Over that many games.
Yeah, totally. And so I think, I don't know, if you take that, you take all the guys are obviously a year older, they're a little more mature. You've got Wemby obviously coming off of silver medal, put on some weight, which we'll get into in a bit. And then you've got other guys who are either fighting for contract spots or just want to progress. And then you add Chris Paul, you add Stephon Castle, you add Harrison Barnes. We'll see. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, for Castle, you mentioned our rookie,
Yep.
4th overall pick of the draft after a year at UConn, where he was a national champion. I think he's going to bring a winner's mentality. Everybody that follows college basketball in the NCAA knows that Dan Hurley only recruits the best kind of guys. He puts a big emphasis on their character, on what they
Yep.
bring to the organization as a whole, not just on the court, but off the court. What's their family like? What kind of mentality have they been raised into? What are their values? What's their work ethic? And if they don't check all those boxes at an elite level, he's not bringing those guys on the team. So I like that side. I think that fits the Spurs mold for a point guard we can have for a long time.
100%.
Yeah, man, his size, 6'6", 215 combo guard, size to be an elite defender at the pro level,
Yeah.
6'6", 215, damn near as big as me.
Yeah.
And I
I
played
know.
power forward most of my playing days. A
Yeah.
little bit heavier than that, but 6'6", 215 with a wingspan, man. He already showed off that wingspan last night with the poster dunk of the little kid in the Thunder. But
Yeah. That was sick.
I like him, man. I like him. How about his shooting splits? What do you feel with his shot coming into year one?
I think it'll be a work in progress. I mean, I don't know if you how much of the game you watched last night, the preseason game. It's way too early. I mean, Vic didn't play, CP3 didn't
Yeah, a lot of
play.
guys out.
Yeah, Devin's out. So it's fine, but I think you'll see, right? It's a work in progress, but his strengths are going to be strengths that we're going to be able to use throughout the whole season, right? I mean, his ability, like he knows how to play defense, period. Like I mentioned this to you over the summer, man. Like just his positioning on defense, offside, his knack for the ball, ability to read, a pass, telegraph passes, and obviously his strength, right? Fighting over screens like that. You just don't see, seriously, you don't see that from a 19-year-old.
Nope.
Much less
Nope.
many guys in the NBA period, right? Especially with how talented,
They don't
NBA
want to do
players
it.
are.
They don't
No,
want to
no,
do it.
exactly. It's so hard. And so the fact that like I think that's just going to be a positive. You saw last night there was a couple of plays where I don't know how many points he had, but there was one. I mean, the first bucket that he had was just he catches nice little hezzy, goes left, goes right into Caruso, finishes over the big, like those things are going to be there. And then the other one was he came right in the game, got right to the basket, slow step to get the defender in the air, gets fouled,
Right off the
gets to the free
bat.
throw. Like it was
Yeah.
beautiful. And then his passing ability, that's going to be there as well. So like I'm pumped for that. I think his shot though, I think it'll just be like I said, a work in progress. I don't know what he shot. Let's see. He shot 47%, looks like 47% in college.
47 from the field. This was his 1 year at UConn, was 47.2 from the field. He shot about
Wow.
75% from the free throw line, which is encouraging. Kind of shows that there are some mechanics there slightly above average.
Exactly.
But yeah, that 3-point shot from the college line, 27%
Yep.
on about 2.2 attempts per game.
Yep.
So yeah, like you said, that's a little bit of the work in progress there. But I was looking when we brought him in after the draft and they were talking to Brian Wright, they were talking about how his good free throw percentage numbers was hopefully going to be a good indicator of the potential that he's going to have.
100%.
And he's got a good foundation.
Yeah.
It's not like he's shooting 55% from the free throw line and 25% from three. He's got a good free throw number.
Yep.
And yeah, he can only go up from there. We remember what Kawhi Leonard's shot looked like coming into the league
Exactly. Yes.
back in the day in 2011. So yeah, I think there's much to be done, but if there's any organization that knows how to develop guys, it's the Spurs.
100%, man. No, I'm excited for that. There is a statistic about that. Like I think it's just like free throw percentage is actually a good, leading indicator of like long term,
I believe it.
shooting. Yeah, yeah, for pros at least. And he's learning from his newest mentor, CP3.
This
Anything?
guy,
Yeah.
this
What do you?
guy, Chris Paul, man.
Dude, you didn't like the move. You hated it. You
you
hated it.
know, he's one of those guys. We've all played with somebody, one of those guys that you hate to play
Yeah,
against.
that was me
But when
too,
he's
though.
on your team, you know how he's going to get under the skin of other players.
Yeah.
And with a guy like him, it's his 20th year in the NBA. I can't hate at the end of the day at the value he's going to bring as far as coaching our guys up, giving them that, Castle, Branham, Wesley, even Keldon, and while he's here, and Vassell, giving them some leadership from that guard position.
Mm-hmm.
It's Pop said it the other day. It's invaluable. You can't put a price tag on it. But yeah, man, I've never liked the guy.
Yeah,
From afar, that goes back to his Hornets days in New
I know.
Orleans. But I think if there's one moment to pick out as a Spurs fan that it's like, man, Chris Paul,
Yeah.
2015, Game 7, the first round.
Yep.
Clippers are the 2 seed. Spurs are the 6 seed with 55 wins that year.
Stupid.
And Chris Paul pushes off a Danny Green, gets it
He
over
did.
both Green and Tim Duncan to wind that game down and send us packing in a year that we really thought we had a chance to go defend our title from 2014. So a lot of stuff with Chris Paul goes way back, but
Yeah.
you know, he's here for a year. Let's hope it's the full season, and
Yep.
and he's gonna add a lot to what we're trying to do as we try to stable this ship this
Yeah.
year.
No, 100%. And like you said, I mean, like obviously the expected thing is just the coaching and the mentorship of the younger guys. You saw it last night. You're gonna see this everywhere on social media, just like him talking to guys on the bench during the timeout. You
Yeah,
know,
he's not even dressed. He's
he's
not
not
even
even
dressed. He's doing
dressed.
that.
Supposedly him, talking to Wemby and Vassell on the bench, like as soon as the game started, just talking, having, motioning stuff. Like he's obviously he's engaged, which I have to respect. Like as much as I'm kind of with you in the same boat of like, I didn't love the move at first. And just knowing obviously just the rival that he was with us, but just seeing his commitment after 20 years of playing basketball, wanting to just come down to San Antonio.
Pop said we can't put a price tag on it for what he's teaching. We're paying the guy over $10 million for 1 year
That's true. That's
at
true.
his 20th year in the league. He better be teaching the guys.
I
That's
know.
all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's true.
But every indication so far looks like it's gonna happen that way. So
yeah, I'm excited. I mean, obviously the only question mark for me is just can he stay healthy, right? Like it would be nice to see him in a Spurs uniform on the court, for the whole 82. He's been sort of riddled with injuries here and
yeah,
there
he's
the
not gonna
past
play
time.
82.
No,
But
no, not even close. But I mean, ideally, I'd like to see him get a lot of reps in, and obviously just see if you had him and then Stephon on the court right next to him, and then just seeing where he places the ball with Wemby, seeing how he directs offense, directs traffic. Like I think that's just that'll do a lot better than just obviously him being on the bench in street clothes, during timeouts,
100%.
trying to direct people and talk to
Yeah.
Stephon on the bench or something. Like I would
How
love to
many
see him
points a
actually play.
game? How many points a game do you see him adding to Wemby's point total? Just from lobs and crafty little dump offs alone. What do you see that bumping up for Wemby? What's the effect?
Dude, at least an extra 6 points a game. At least an extra
Right?
six
I
points a
mean,
game.
he's got to channel that Lob City stuff from the 2010s, right?
100%. No, 100%. There's that. There's just I mean, he knows how to play the pick and roll better than just about anybody, right? I
Yep.
mean, so like obviously they're working on that in training camp. I saw, and then just like that over the course of the season, like they're gonna get used to each other. Wemby's obviously you literally cannot miss him. And if you don't guard Chris Paul, like he's got the midi, he's got the step back, he's got the hezzy, he's got
Yeah.
all that jazz in his bag. So like you're gonna have to step up and guard, or someone's gonna score. So I think it's gonna be good, and I think, or just even in transition, getting him the ball. You saw last year with Jeremy Sohan, he just couldn't get the ball to Wemby. Not even Trey Jones. I mean, like even a couple times. I mean, he's a great passer. He's a great point guard. I love Trey. But I mean, you even saw him a few times just miss him point blank, cut into the basket and
It was
transition.
crazy because I remember
Yeah.
Sean Elliott talking about it, and they're talking like a guy that tall, they're having to adjust to how high they actually have to throw that
Right.
pass.
Right.
A 7-footer is, you're throwing it up there, but I mean, he's not 7 foot. He's 7'5" with almost an 8-foot wingspan, man. You got to
Yeah.
throw that ball an extra foot up in the air
Totally.
where he can go get it. How about Harrison Barnes? How do you think he's going to fit in to the squad? You see him starting?
I see him starting. Absolutely. I think he's a great shooter. He's a great person as well. Great locker room guy. It seems like, it sounds like Greg Popovich was really high on him, for a long time as well. So I think that's just going to be a perfect, sort of chemistry match. And then, yeah, I mean, he's long. He can defend from what I can remember. And he can
Yeah, he
shoot
can
the thing.
defend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'll be obviously our one of our core, guys for at least we're going to rely on for shooting this season. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted to get into is just like, ups and downs or like highs and lows, I think is just like shooting. For us, I think we're still missing that. I think we're still like one or two guys away from, really stepping it up, but he'll definitely fill that hole quite a bit.
Yeah,
So
I agree. He's only 32. You know,
Right.
he got signed, or we got him in the trade, which was a hilarious malpractice by the Bulls to not get more back in that trade and allow us to get Harrison Barnes for literally nothing.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
But what's new with the Bulls? But yeah, he's a 38, right at 38% 3-point shooter in his career, which is huge. To think that he's only 32, you know, like I said, when we made that trade, I thought he was going to be 34, 35, but you go look, he just turned 32 over the summer. I think he's still got plenty left in the tank and can be a real contributor for us this year.
100%.
But what stood out to me, the game last night, first quarter, he gets defending on Chet Holmgren right at the mid post, and you know Chet's 7'1", you know, Wemby Jr., if you will, and Harrison Barnes picks him up right at the mid post, right at the elbow, fronts him up, faces him up. He stops him right, he stops him left, forces a really tough look. Holmgren kicked it back out. Wouldn't even take the shot, and I think that's something that really the only other person on the team that we have can even come close to doing that at that 3-4 spot is Sohan. So again, it's a veteran presence to show our young guys what the hell they can do if they understand what's going on the right way. He's done it for a long time. He's won 2 championships. He's going to bring that kind of mentality for us too, and it's going to be interesting, I think, to see how many games he plays. You know, we're talking about Chris Paul's not going to play 82. Of course, Harrison Barnes, I believe he's played, you know, a good amount of games in years that he's actually been healthy. He's played all 82 games the last 2 years in a row. Wow. So if he can bring that kind of durability, 77 the year before in 2022, if he can bring that kind of durability, man, that's going to be a huge, again, stability piece for us.
Absolutely. No, and like, I mean, between him and CP3, like you said, I mean, those guys, like we just need him in here to help our guys know, like, learn how to win, right? Like Chris Paul said, he said that he watched our film over the summer, and he said, it's like, it's not like we weren't winning. Like we were winning winning in a lot of games, and we just obviously blow it, right? You know, whether it be, you know, defense, guys are going runs.
Little
we
mistakes.
couldn't guard a statue for a quarter or something.
We didn't end quarters well either, you know, into the second quarter, into the third quarter, those little 1.5, 2 minute stretches right there that, you know, Duncan and Tony and Manu seem to always win. We were giving those away 6-7 point runs at the end of quarters, which is just a huge momentum swing going into crunch time.
It's so hard to win that way, especially if you already, you know, can't shoot that well, right? You know, so like, and you don't have a Chris Paul to, you know, spread the offense out and get guys open looks. Like it's hard, obviously, as you saw. So I think just between them two, having them on the floor or just having them in the locker room, like that's going to be obviously the biggest thing above just even shooting for Harrison Barnes or him being just a two-way player. I think just like them helping us understand how to like win games that we shouldn't win games, but we're up, or, you know, stay in games and not play down on our competition, which is not going to be many teams, obviously.
This Put the Western Conference on notice, Alec.
I know, dude, for real. So yeah, I'm excited for those specifically. So let's talk about Wemby a little bit. I know we mentioned him. Obviously, everyone's going to be talking about Wemby, every podcast, every Twitter feed,
every national news media.
National news media is going to talk about
the spotlight this year.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, anything that stood out to you from him over the summer? Did you watch the Olympics? What do you think?
Yep. Man, he's going to take a big step forward. And by the way, as far as national media, we got 21 games national televised this year, this season. So that's a fourth of the season for the whole country to see. Dang. Excited about that. Yeah, man, the Olympics was really cool to watch. You can see how much it mattered to Wemby. He was playing with some serious fire for a 19-year-old to get silver medal going against LeBron, KD, Steph, who was playing out of his mind in those last 2 games in the Olympics, especially the final against France. And to be crying afterwards, the expectation that he was going to win gold as France hosted the Olympics in Paris, that sort of mentality is what is going to propel us more than anything else that we've
Yeah.
talked about to
Yeah.
start this podcast. It's that kid and his maturity, his mentality.
Yep.
I'm excited. But apart from his mind, the physical piece last year came in at 210, 7'3" listed, 210
Mhm.
pounds last year. Let's call him what he is, 7'4", maybe 7'5". But he's put on 25 pounds. He's listed at 235 coming into year two. Um, Still probably plenty more to put on,
Oh yeah.
a la Giannis. But
Yes.
I think that's going to be a big step. I mean, he's already stuffing Giannis at the rim, and another 25 pounds of weight in a year. Man, that's going to be a lot to handle.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see him play this year. I think he'll shoot the ball more consistently this year. I think obviously again we talked about Chris Paul and how he's going to make it easier for him. I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
So he's going to get the ball in spots where he can score. I'm sure he's worked on everything. I mean, he's worked with Jamal Crawford this year, and he's got other,
Oh man, yeah,
trainers that I'm
he's
sure
getting
he's
that
worked with.
bag right.
Exactly, dude. He's gonna be the guy he's branded himself to be, which is the alien, right? Like he's gonna be something else, dude. Like
Alien,
something
dude.
out
He
of this
was one
world.
of the best, most accurate shooters on step backs last year in his rookie
Yep.
season at 7'4".
Yeah, I
It's
know.
crazy what he's doing. Now, like you said, more consistency. That's going to come from the spot up jump shots, right?
Exactly.
Especially from three. You talk about Chris Paul facilitating and making things a little bit easier. He might not have to create off the dribble as much.
Hmm.
My guess from a defender's mentality, you saw his numbers last year from spot up 3-point shots wasn't the best. Like you said,
Yep.
lack consistency. If I'm a defender and Chris Paul's going to the rim or Castle's going to the rim, Vassell, when he's back, is going to the rim, I'm going to sag off of Wemby on that 3-point line. I'm
Yep.
going to say, go prove it,
Yep.
young buck, right? Like you're going to make this kid prove that he can shoot spot up threes. Once he gets the ball in his hand, you got to be there. He's off the dribble. He's dangerous. He's shown us that. But in the meantime, I'm backing off, and I'm going to be fine with a late closeout.
Yep.
So if that's one area I really would like to see him make a jump this year is those spot up corner threes, top of the keys on pick and pops, moving without the ball a little bit as we've got some of these guards that are looking to take a step forward to penetrate and then kick out to him. If he can knock down, an extra 5 to 10% of those spot up threes, I think it's going to open things up for
Oh my
everybody
gosh.
a lot
Yeah.
more.
Yep.
The spacing that'll create is going to be big
Yeah. No,
if it happens.
that I completely agree. No, exactly. And I think he said, I don't know, I remember some interview that he had. He was saying that it's almost he was more comfortable shooting off the dribble versus off the catch. And I don't know why. I don't know if it says because his
It makes
hands
no
or something
sense.
or whatever. But I was like, hey, dude, good. All right, that makes sense.
Whatever works for you, Vic.
Yeah, dude, exactly. And so, but obviously it showed, right? Like you said,
It
he's
did.
top five, and most efficient in whatever step back threes versus off the catch. So yeah, no, I'm excited to see that. Also last year, I mean, you saw the progression of him just understanding his size, understanding how to be big. As they moved him to the five, it was really interesting to see him and actually,
That was
Coach
key.
Pop. I mean, you saw him, during practices like teach him how to get into position, how to ask for the ball, how to catch the
Yep.
ball,
Yep.
how
Where
to
to put your
not give up your
hands.
position if you've got a spot, like not just getting pushed off so easy off your spot. So like I think that's going to carry over. Plus, like you said, Stephon being able to penetrate and kick or dish. Same with Chris Paul. I mean, I think that's going to be really interesting to see. So I mean, I don't know. He averaged like what 21? Didn't he average 21 last year or something? It was
Yeah,
over
that's
20. I know it was over 20, but did he get to 21?
so we pull this up. So last year in 71 games, 21.4 points,
Shoot.
10.6 rebounds, 3.9 assists per game. He shot 32.5% from three, almost 80% from the line, 46% from the field. I mean, crazy numbers. Then you throw
Unreal.
in the blocks.
Yeah,
I
almost as many
believe
blocks as he did assist, I guess. Yeah, it's nuts.
3.6 blocks per game,
Unreal.
with another over 1.2 steals per game as well. He was second in Defensive Player of the Year voting.
Yeah.
He told us towards the end of last season, he was like, I hope Rudy enjoys it
Yeah.
because he can have it this year. Because after this year, it's my award every
Totally.
year.
Totally.
And I believe him. He's going to set the record if we don't get some serious photo fatigue. He's going to set the record for Defensive Player of the Year trophies by the time his career is all said and done.
100%. I
He
mean,
could
like,
win it every year for a decade.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, Rudy Gobert won it how many times now? 4 or something?
4 times.
4 times. And then just seeing how much I think better of a defender that Wemby already sort of is. Just to, again, his ability he's just again so unique. He's like so
he
eclectic
thinks the game so well for a 19, 20-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just the little things he does, the small things he does. You got like a shooting guard out on the
Beautiful.
3-point line. He'll have his hands down a little bit, and then as soon as they shoot, he'll like throw his hand up or whatever, and
Yep.
like little things like that you never seen ever before.
And he's doing
Like,
what one of our AAU teammates in high school, who was 6'11" at the time, as a sophomore in high school, used to do with the blocks. He's tipping it to himself. He's
yes,
not always swatting it into the 8th row, which he could do every time he blocks the ball at his height.
yep,
He's getting those controlled tips, tapping it straight up in the air, like you said, just kind of lunging out,
yep,
putting it up in the air. He's going and grabbing it, starting to break, finding guys off that. That's a couple of extra fast break opportunities a game. The way that he blocks those shots, which is the sign of an elite shot blocker. Who else used to do that? Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan. He literally did the same thing. I mean, that was the
Remember
thing
that double hand overthrow, lob pass or skip pass down the court
always
to start the break. Man, yeah,
I know.
Wemby's doing the same thing.
I know, man. Yeah, I know.
Beautiful to see.
I know. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see all that. Obviously, I think if you probably check Vegas odds, he's probably leading. And we improve. I think that's the big caveat is if our record improves.
Okay, guess the line for DPOY. What is Victor? Is he first, second, third place in opening betting for DPOY, and what are those odds?
I'm guessing he's first. I just don't see anybody else. Yeah, and I don't know what those odds are.
Victor Wembanyama in year 2 of his young NBA career is at minus 250 for DPOY this year. Right. Rudy Gobert plus 1,400. Bam Adebayo plus 1,200. Chet Holmgren's at plus 1,600. And rounding out the top 5 there is Mobley at plus 1,600 as well.
Not AD. That's interesting.
AD's at plus 2,500 right now, so not too far off. He's in there. Yeah. Other guys mentioned with some closer odds: Giannis, Jaren Jackson III, Jaren Jackson Jr., OG Anunoby, Herb Jones. So
I just don't
like
see
Herb Jones, but no, Wemby's that guy. Like I said, man, I think personally, call me crazy, he could win DPOY every year for the next decade if he stays healthy.
No, I see it. I see
stop him.
Other than again, but everyone says barring injury this, barring injury that. Like, obviously that's the case. Like, for every player, right? What do you think about Devin Vassell? I know he's going to be out to start the season. That'll suck, right? Just to not have him on the court. But I mean,
a lot of people are marking him for most improved this year. I wish he could start the season out with that starting lineup. Reevaluated November 1st, so he's going to miss at least the first 5 games as he continues to come back. He was cleared for some on-court activity this week in practice, though. A couple days ago, you saw some clips of him at practice doing some one-on-one drills, working on his kind of stationary shooting, one dribble pull-ups, a couple of spin moves in there. So he's progressing along. November 1, not that far away. We're about 3 weeks out from that. 3.5 weeks out. So he's coming along. But man, I'm excited for Devin. He's taken a step up in every year of his career so far.
Yep.
And I think people are tagging him for MIP for a reason, man. I think he's got a real chance to be a legitimate number 2 option at a playoff contending team. Not a contender yet, but a playoff contending team, number 2 guy behind Wemby. I think he's definitely got a shot for it.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree. I mean, like you said, he's progressed every year since he's coming in the league. He got his money, he got his contract, and people are saying, hey, this could actually be an actually really favorable contract for us in the long term if he continues to progress 100%. How he has with all the new contract, the funny money that's just being passed around for these guys now. Like I can see it playing out in our favor in the long term. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I love Devin. I love him ever since he came in and came with us into the league. So yeah, man, I'm excited.
Most improved player, if that were to happen. He's coming off a season last year, 19.5 points per game, almost 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and over 1 steal per game.
Yeah,
His effective field goal percentage was 55% last year. That's strong numbers for the offensive end. You throw in a steal a game. That
totally.
you get most improved on top of 19, 4 and 4 with a steal. That's going to be some serious contributions there. Where I'd like to see him improve is, and guys, I'm a defensive guy. You're going to
Dude.
hear that throughout this pod.
You read
All
my
right.
mind. You read my mind.
But where I'd like to see him improve is be more consistent on the defensive end. I know we have Sohan, and I know that's going to be his key area. I know we're probably going to stick Jeremy on the #1 guy on a lot of opposing teams. I know we brought in Harrison Barnes, who's a good 3-and-D guy. He knows how to guard perimeter players. Chris Paul is going to be crafty. Castles is that. But
Yep.
for Devin Vassell to be talked about in the echelon of players that we all think in San Antonio he can become a part of, he's going to have to be a more consistent on-ball and off-ball defender.
Yes.
Now, maybe pick one, right? Because he is going to be tabbed with doing a lot of the scoring for us this year. That on-ball defending might take it out of him, might get him a little tired in the fourth quarter. But what I'd love to see is not falling asleep on these back cuts. Right?
Yes.
Not losing guys, looking down at a Joel Embiid or a Jokic when they're in the post, and just losing a guy relocating behind him to find a wide open corner three, not getting back cut for easy layups at the rim, not missing rotations, not plugging gaps.
Yeah.
Just the little stuff out there, right? We talked about Coach Boggess, our Hall of Fame Texas basketball coach, talking to us every year about the little things.
Yep.
It's going to be the little things on defense, and if Vassell can improve his off-ball defense, take that a step up, it'll go so far for this squad.
100%. No, I mean, you
Get off
you
my
literally,
ivory tower about that, but yeah,
yeah,
that crap drove me absolutely freaking crazy last year.
same. No, exactly. And as we like started to talk about it in our group message, we're like, yo, he's kind of getting backdoored a lot. Like it just happened even more. It was
A
crazy.
lot.
It wasn't like a couple times or a few times. It was like
No, it's consistent.
a couple times a game, and it was like, okay, dude, like, come on. So obviously he's got it. He's got the length. He can do it. It's, at this point, it's about effort. And I think, again, part of this whole winning thing, if we're trying to step it up, as everyone has talked about in the organization, is, hey, it's time to try to go win some games now. That's gonna be a thing. Is just just more effort, be in the right position, help the helper, do all the things. So
and look, he's at a competitive position in the NBA, shooting guard, but he's 24. He's coming close to entering his prime, right? That those prime years from about 25 to 29 in the league, most would say, are your prime year. He's right on the cusp of that, man.
yeah,
He just turned 24. If he wants to step up, he's got to step up on the defensive end too. He can't have that excuse. Look at Devin Booker. He came into the Olympics, and he was tasked with being, off ball, right? Is Vassell gonna have the ball in his hand every possession? No, we've got freaking Wemby out here, all right.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Booker went into the Olympics and he beat up the best guy on the other team, and he did it well.
Yes.
Now, Devin Booker is arguably the best shooting guard in the league. Who's the other one in contention for that? Anthony Edwards. What do both of guys do? They defend.
Yeah.
They defend. Vassell has to defend at a better, consistent rate than he did last year.
100%, man. You nailed it. Starting five prediction going into this year. Do you have anything?
What you got? Let's see what you have. Starting five. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. What's your starting five this year? I think I've got an idea, but I want to see what you think. See if we have any differences here.
If you to start the season, like to start the first game, or assuming everyone's healthy.
Yeah, let's do to start the season, knowing Vassell is going to be out. Let's start there, and then once Vassell comes back, we can iron that out. Because obviously Devin's going to be in that starting lineup anytime he plays.
Totally. I think you go obviously Wemby at the 5. I think you've got Jeremy in there. I think you've got Harrison Barnes, and I think Trey Jones will start again. I think he'll start well, actually, no. Obviously, we've got Chris Paul, assuming he's healthy to start the season. I would assume he starts. And then who you got at the 2, man? I think you got to have, maybe, I don't know, Julian Champagny. I mean, he shot the ball really well last night in his first preseason game.
Yep.
He started a lot of games for us last season. I can see him playing the 2. We can just kind of go big there and being able to switch, 2 through 5. Um, or you maybe throw in, like, I don't think Malachi Branham gets the call. So
I
I'd
don't
probably put
either.
my money on Julian. I mean, we need another shooter in there anyway, so I think that makes sense.
Take a little podcast bet here and
Okay.
see if we can figure out who's going to start. I think because you and I have the same idea for the point guard and then the 3 through 5. I've got Chris Paul starting at point guard position. They
Okay.
talked about his camp over the summer, talked about wanting to start wherever he went this season. So Chris Paul is going to start at point guard for us. At the 3 spot, I agree. Harrison Barnes. 4 is going to be Sohan. 5 is Wemby. At that 2 spot, as much as I would love to throw Stephon Castle in there,
Same.
I'm a diehard fan. I know the history of this organization. I like to think that I know Greg Popovich. He didn't give Tony Parker the starting job right off the bat. He made him earn it a little bit. Didn't take long, but he made him earn it. So I'm actually going to go with the guy that might surprise you at the 2, is Keldon Johnson.
Okay. All right.
I think Branham, you said not ready. Blake Wesley's been working hard. I don't think he's ready for it either. Champagny, I think, is going to be kind of filling in that Chetty Osman, Doug McDermott, sniper off the bench role to start things out. But Keldon's been in the program a long time. Let's see that new slim down body.
That'd be
I
interesting.
think Keldon lost weight. Wemby took all of it and put it on.
Yeah.
We'll see what he looks like. I think he might go Keldon at the 2.
I can see it,
But
man.
I'm gonna put that down. I'm gonna say that I've got Keldon at the 2, and Alec has who'd you go with?
Champagny.
Penny. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I can
Yeah,
see. Okay. No, I can see it, man. I mean, Keldon's Keldon. I mean, he knows how to
check in
get
a couple weeks and see what that looks like.
yeah, yeah, that'll be actually really fun. We want to put anything on the line? I mean, I don't know. What do you like? What is your vices? What do you
Oh
want
man, oh
if you
man.
win?
I don't think we're too young in the podcast to start getting into my vices here. But
I know, sure.
uh,
First drink. When does UT play Florida? When are you gonna come down for that? Is that
UT Florida. We're about a month out. November 9 is
all
that
right? Yeah,
game.
so then we'll do that. That'll be
Florida
it.
goes and visits UT Austin
Yeah.
in Austin, November 9th. So yeah, we'll
Oh,
put a drink bet on that one for then.
perfect, dude. I love it, man.
What if we're both wrong?
If we're both wrong,
What if it's not Keldon or Champagne?
then we donate a drink to our first Spurs Bros subscriber. That's what we'll do.
Okay, bet.
There you go. That'd be
Oh
great.
man.
Um, let's go, man. No, yeah, I mean, it's sort of the other last thing I kind of wanted to talk about. I mean, there's a lot to talk about here. I'd be remiss if we didn't mention the gaping hole in our hearts and ears
Oh
from
mama.
Oh Mama Wembanyama. Bill Land
Bill
is
Land,
retiring. I
legend.
guess, yeah, I'm sure we all saw the news here. It's really sad, man. I actually did. I had no idea he was battling cancer, so that's really tough. But
You could see
um,
him a little skinny towards
yeah,
the end of last year, but I don't think anybody knew really what it was until the news came out over the sun in the last month or so, couple
yeah,
months here.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was sad. I mean, and again, yeah. I mean, like he would go on road trips. I guess he'd miss a lot of games or stretches of games. I thought it was just because like old age. Just wanted to kind of sort of take a step back, maybe have a new maybe bring in somebody else, sort of flirt with the next generation or whatever. But yeah, obviously that came way faster than I was expecting. Or I
agreed.
just hated it, man, because obviously he was the guy, he was the voice. There, I had so many fond memories with just him in there, and the from Manu to Tony, and just as it was unbelievable having him
We
there for the
just
championship runs. It was just, I mean, like literally, it brings it
he
all
just
together, right?
fit.
The sensory experience, right? Like just
Yeah.
the all the excitement, like having his voice, him and Sean, that familiarity there. It's gonna be so
Yeah.
hard.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be different.
Yeah.
I want to, if I can get this audio to work the right way, I want to throw in because the genius of Bill Land is in his final year battling sickness. He comes in we get this rookie phenom, Victor Wembanyama, and what does he come up with? He comes up with a genius catchphrase, "Oh Mama Wembanyama." Let's see if I can get this audio to come through here.
Wallace into a turnover, and and Wemby got in there, and they've gotten a piece of that one. Then he gets out and runs the floor.
Beautiful. Had to put that in there.
Gosh.
Had to put that in there. Omar Wembanyama, the genius of Land. He will be missed. Between, Bill Land has been the TV guy for a long time. This is going to be a tough one to get used to. I want to quickly shout out, you're talking about kind of the sensory experience, Bill Schoening. My play guy, man, we're down Bill Land. Bill Schoening's been in that spot since the 2002 season. I hope he's got a long more way to go on the radio play-by-play. I think he's one of the best in the business there.
Absolutely.
But losing the two of them, can't do it one season. So Bill, if you ever hear this, we need you around a lot more, man, a lot more years.
Totally.
But that brings us, got to talk about who the Spurs have brought on to take the spot to try to fill the shoes of Bill Land is Jacob Toby. Jacob Toby is a new voice.
Yep.
A new voice in the play-by-play game in the NBA. Trying to do a little bit of a look into him last year. He was actually on the call in Denver last year, but he was also actually on the call for a specific game for what was it? Bronny's first bucket as a USC Trojan, I believe.
Yeah, USC. That goes on the resume for sure. I'm sure he put that on there.
100%. I think it's actually pinned to his Twitter profile.
There you go. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's
there you
go.
That's a big moment. You don't that's not easy to come by. It was pinned. Now he's got his announcement of joining the Spurs family. So, good looking guy. Did you see the clip? He's like the Boggess family over here. He's got a little bit of musical instrument ability too.
I saw that.
Playing the guitar, singing a song. He's got a beautiful voice.
Good for him. No, I know that's kind of cool. Yeah, he kind of brushed it off. He's like, oh yeah, kind of do that on the off time. Like, good for him, man. That's awesome. I love it.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Many talents.
Him and Sean seem to kind of get along. They've got some rapport already. I was listening a little bit last night.
Yeah.
Seems like it's good. There's a lot more important games to come. This was game one of the preseason. No Wemby, no Vassell, no Chris Paul. So a lot more to come with important stuff. We'll see if you can kind of meet the moment with some of these games that we've got coming.
Yeah, no, it'll come. Obviously, that's a lot of reps, and he'll have 82 of them, ideally. So that'll be fine. I think he did better. I think he did pretty good. I mean, for his first night, the preseason game, I think he did pretty good. I think he did better than. Let's just say he did better than Tom Brady's first game in the booth. So I think that there you go. That's
I agree too. Though Cowboys had first 3 games of Tom Brady. That was
that was interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting. We'll leave it there. But it's similar vein, man, to all these voices. Who else is gone is Matt Bonner. Matt Bonner did some broadcasts for us. Pregame, halftime shows, postgame analysis. After several years in that role with the Spurs, after a long playing career, he's back to Toronto. So, we'll miss. I'll miss the Red Rocket on the broadcasts. Totally. I know I will.
The halftime shows.
That just makes his hanging flannel shirt in the Spurs locker room that much more sentimental now. So exactly. Never forget the Red Rocket 3-point specialist. Don't jump with him. Gonna miss him and his sandwich excursions on road trips too.
Oh man, I'm gonna miss him too, man. He was great. Obviously, won a championship with us. He's part of the culture, right? He's part of our environment. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he said other than he said he was excited for the challenge. I know he didn't say there was nothing bad that happened. I think he was just saying, hey, I think
just
taking on something else.
Yeah, I'm sure he started his career in Toronto, so he's got familiarity with that organization also.
And I think a bigger role too. I think he was running the radio something or something.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a step up because, like,
Yeah.
again, with the Spurs, he was kind of reserved to halftime, pregame, postgame stuff,
Yeah.
doing some sideline reporting. So I think he did a good job and deserves a step up if he wanted it.
There you
Yeah.
go. Oh man, that'll be good for him, man. So yeah, there's a lot of changes over here. That obviously has sort of been the theme. Changes, some good, some sad, some some that we'll miss. But yeah, man, we're excited. That's part of growth. That's part of the journey. Is that exactly? So I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for this season.
I am too.
Do you have a prediction, early prediction as far as record goes? People are all over the place. I've heard people say they're all over the place of like either, are we a 40-win team? I don't know for that. People are saying, I don't know what the line is, but a lot of people are saying, below the line of whatever, 34.5 or something, or
is that the line? 34?
I don't know. I'm probably making that up. I should know this, but if I had to
Spurs
guess,
are coming in from Vegas. They've got the over under at 35.5.
35.5.
Yeah, that is MGM. Looks like most of these different platforms have 35.5. There's one at 36.5. That's Vegas Insider. But yeah, 35.5 looks to be the line here. I say we go over. We've talked about it in our group with some of the other guys that hopefully will get on this pod later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I say we go over. How much over? I don't know. Probably not by much, but
yeah, 2 games.
I guess if we're gonna put ourselves out here on the line before the season starts, as of today, I'd put us 37 wins. That's where
Okay.
we'll go.
Ooh, I say
37.
38-39. I say 38-39. I don't know why I have this number that number in my head. So
we gotta pick one here. Let's see if we can get closer. So
I'll go 38 then. Yeah, I'll go 38.
38.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got 38. I've got us at 37.
And we both hope that we're on the low side.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, but I think that's a good range. That should be good enough for play in. One other thing to consider. Today is Tuesday, October 8th. Wednesday, October 9th, tomorrow, preseason debut for both Wemby and Chris Paul. So we get to see CP3 in a Spurs uniform for the first time, as well as Wemby making his debut in the preseason tomorrow night against the Magic in San Antonio. Following will not suit up. That's Charles Bassey, Zach Collins, David Duke Jr., Nathan Mensah, and of course Vassell. But yeah, we're gonna get a couple guys into the fold that we expect to start this year. So I'm excited to see how that goes tomorrow.
Yeah.
Should be a good test. I don't know who else is gonna play for the Magic, but Jonathan Isaac, Wendell Carter Jr. just got his money today, got extended. The Wagner brothers, you've got a few other really good players for a Magic team on the rise.
Yeah.
See how that goes tomorrow. But I'm excited, and hopefully we'll have some breakdown next week.
Totally. I'm excited about that too. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to watch. I don't know how many minutes they'll get to, right? Well, they just play one half. I mean, as you saw last night, sort of the second half, sort of end of the third, fourth quarter was all sort of reserved for the guys who were trying to fight for their roster spots for sure.
Yeah.
You got Malachi Flynn, who I hope makes the team, man. I love his game.
Certified bucket getter Malachi Flynn went for 50 last year in Detroit.
Dude, you don't see many people like him. Like he's got skills, like real, like a lot of skill, which again, I mean, he has to. He's not that big. But man, like you said, he can fill it up. And so I would love to see him earn a roster spot. I don't know if he will. He'd kind of be like a Devontae Graham for us, if you will, right? Like he's got you got Blake Wesley, right? Yeah, you got Blake Wesley, you got Malachi Branham, who's about 6'4" He plays a 2. He doesn't play point guard really. But then you got Stephon Castle, you got CP3, Trey Jones. I mean, that's tough, right? To where do you put him on the roster? I hope he makes it. And then you got other guys who are fighting for roster spots. So I mean, I think maybe we'll get 12, 18 minutes from Wemby, same with Chris. So that'll be interesting to see, him and then plugging him in with, Chris Paul or
Yeah.
Stephon Castle and everybody else. I think that'll
He
be
could round out that roster. Those games that Chris Paul sits, Malachi can come in for a spot 6 minutes and give us 9, 10, 11 points real quick. Just if he's got that Devontae Graham green light,
Come on. Yeah.
He could. Last year, Detroit, he played 24 games, about 14 minutes each game. And in those minutes that he got is 8 points
Not bad.
on efficient shooting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. It's an extra little wrinkle in there. I saw him guarding Chris Paul in practice today. So interesting stuff. Yeah, a lot more to get to, like you said at the top, but yeah, man, I'm excited. The next week's going to be fun.
Yep.
First game is just over 2 weeks out, I think. So yeah, a lot to look forward to this year.
Yes, sir.
And
I'm gonna try to be up in Dallas for it. Like I said, I'm actually gonna try to come up to Dallas to.
Yeah, man. November 16, we visit the Mavericks.
No, I know, but the isn't the opener as well?
Oh, opener, yeah. The opener's
Dallas
here.
It's like October 24th, I think. It's over there. It's over in Dallas.
It's up here.
Yeah.
What day is that?
October 24th. I don't know what day that is, but
yeah, Thursday the 24th.
Yep.
I mean, I was on TNT. That'll be big. I wasn't planning to go to it, but if you're gonna come up here, dude,
at least we'll go watch it. No, I'm serious.
Around. Yeah, that'd be fun as hell. So let me know.
Heck yeah.
A couple weeks, 2 weeks away.
Good deal, sir. Well, I think that probably about covers it for the first one, man. I think we've kind of covered a lot of ground. Again, a lot to talk about and a lot of different aspects, but again, that's what follow-on episodes are for. So, that's all just before the season starts. I'm sure there's a lot to cover as season goes on, man. So I'm excited about this. I'm glad we got to do this. We got the first one under our belts. Well done. Thank you to all who will listen. Probably maybe 2 people, which is great. So family friends. No, we're excited, man.
We'll see. But yeah, if you do happen to stumble upon this podcast, give us some feedback. Leave a comment wherever you see it. Tell us if there's anything that you want us to cover next week.
There you go. I don't have a sign up, but we should probably come up with one. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, from the Spurs bros, go Spurs, go.
Dude, that just wrote itself. All right, there you go. From the Spurs bros, go Spurs, go. That sounded good to me. All right, man. Beautiful.
All right. See you next time.
week. Yeah.